We stayed at the Ballathie House Hotel last night. So this is about 10 miles north of Perth. So very attractive place. Very good when we just had bed and breakfast here. Lots of people staying. Popular for going out hunting and fishing and sort of those sort of very traditional country pursuits. But a lovely old building and beautiful ground. So the house and the building are just behind me. But yeah, one of these traditional estate houses that has been turned, I suppose, quite some time ago into a hotel. But yeah, we were down quite promptly for breakfast at 8:30, but most of the other guests had gone by then. They were off doing whatever country pursuits they were going to take part in today. But very good. We had a very good breakfast. Thoroughly enjoyed that. So we've been nicely set up. So it's just coming up to 10 o'clock, and just in the grounds of the hotel and the estate, the grounds go down to the River Tay, and if you stay here, you can obviously enjoy fishing rights down on the go down to the river, and that's just at the back here, just below us, and we're just getting ourselves settled before we or organised before we go off to drive north again to Braemar. So yeah, that's the River Tay down there below us. So that's making its way through Perthshire, through Perth, and then it'll go out to the sea at Dundee. And yeah, so that's where we stayed. And Pamela said to me, yeah, after a couple of Premier Inns, we're just staying at a few little B&Bs, guest houses. Well, this was one of them. I keep talking about this trip we did 50 years ago, and I have brought with me I don't know how well this will come out. This is the diary I kept, the Hall's trip around Scotland. This is from 1974, and I think somewhere in here it's got towards the back it's got some other trips we did in here. It's got the journey that we did. Just try and find that. Yeah, there we go. I did a map at the back. So this is sort of 60 odd pages in, so I wrote quite a bit. And again, this might not come out terribly well, but I'll have a go. So yeah, 70 odd years ago, having got our way up to North Berwick, we went on to Braemar, Aberdeen, Inverness, right the way around the north coast of Scotland, Carl of Lochaush, Skye, and then back to Pitlochry, Edinburgh, on to home. And it was about best part of 2,000 miles, the whole trip. And we obviously visited. I've done on one of the earlier videos our visit to North Berwick, and that was the little drawing I did, or picture I did, of North Berwick, and the pool that's there. So that's and the beach scene. So I'll compare that with the photographs we took. And interestingly, Pamela and I had a very good meal at the ship. Had a very good meal there. And this talks about this is Sunday the 28th of July 1974, I think, or it might have been actually Saturday the 27th of July. We then had our tea, which consisted of bread and butter, luncheon meat, tomato and salt and smoky crisps. I had orange squash and the others had tea. Anyway, that was North Berwick, but today we're going on to Braemar, and I'll read a little bit about this. So we're north of Perth now. Yeah, as we entered the Highlands, we went up a mountainside. It was a very steep, 1 in 9, then 1 in 8. And we're going to do this route today. We had to stop at Glenshee as the engine had overheated. Well, I hope we don't incur that problem. It was a ski resort with toilets, gift shop and a chairlift. After going to the toilet, always very important, and looking around the gift shop, I went on the chairlift up the mountain. I had a quick look at the top and came back down for lunch, which consisted of bread and butter, cheese, tomato and tart. Don't know what sort of tart, but anyway, I had a tart after lunch. No comment. We then descended what is known as the Devil's Elbow. Well, I'm wondering if we ascended that before we got to Glenshee, but I've written here, I don't know, we'll find out. We then descended what is known as the Devil's Elbow. We travelled between mountains, there were so many. We could see the heather coming out on the mountain sides. Then we came to the rain. It was pouring when we arrived at Braemar. So we'll see how we get on going up to Braemar. And what we're going to find, or try to find, is I think we'll have a good walk around Braemar and see if we can find the castle and so on. And then we strode back and went into Gordon's for high tea. We had to wait a while, this is in Braemar, as it was so full. We sat at a table near the window. I had beef steak, pie, chips and peas. We also had a selection of cakes and scones, which I put strawberry jam on. Mum and Dad bought me a red tartan hat with a red fluffy ball. We went for a walk and arrived at an inn, where Dad and I played American pool. We had one game. Braemar is a quiet, interesting place with a few shops. All the houses are different, and the village is sheltered by large mountains. Well, we'll see. So we're going to go up the road to Braemar. That's my little drawing of the chairlift at Glenshee, and we'll see what we find. And let's hope we don't overheat. We've made it to the top of the Devil's Elbow and the Glenshee ski area, and it's really cold. It's about 7 degrees according to the car thermometer. It's really cold and there's a real good biting wind, and it's been a really good drive, very quiet on the roads for the most part. It's taken an hour to do about 32 miles, but it's because the road is very steep in places, very winding, few small villages and towns to go through. But the car's made it to the top, and without boiling over. I remember my dad parking up here, opening the bonnet, using a handkerchief so he didn't burn his hand to open the radiator cap and then fill it up with water a bit later on. He always carried a big bottle of water in a glass former vinegar bottle. And what I remember as a little lad, he's going up on the chairlift on this side, and God, I'm amazed. I mean, I was only 11, and I just sat in that chair and completely on my own went up the top there, and I realised now that when you go up there you completely disappear from view. And my mum and dad and gran stayed down here having a cup of tea, or they decided they didn't want to do it, didn't want to pay, whatever it was, and I just disappeared up there on my own. And obviously I did come back in a little bit, and I know I wrote in my diary when I got to the top there, it was flipping cold, and that was July. Turned around at the top and more or less got straight back on the chairlift, came back down again. Yeah, but it's decidedly nippy, and there's a bit of hail coming down now, so we're going to make our way in and have a cup of coffee and enjoy it. You have to pay to park, pay by app, but it does say if you haven't got a Wi-Fi connection, then you can pay in the cafe. So we're going to do that. Just see how much it is. Yeah, no phone, no Wi-Fi, pay in cafe. So it's £4 to park in a car, but if you buy a lift ticket you can park your parking's included. Yeah, so we've enjoyed a nice cup of tea, cup of coffee, and if you pay, well, if you go and use the cafe, you let off the car parking. You don't have to pay for the car parking if you're here for an hour or less. So that's quite good. That's fair enough. And just reading a little bit about the road, this A93 from Perth goes up to Grantown-on-Spey, and it's the highest. What is it? The highest public road in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's the highest road, and where we are now is about
2,132 feet.
2,132 feet. So this is the also the highest roadside cafe in the UK. So it's a high road, and it's also a one of the military roads originally built in the 1750s by the successor to General Wade, who built a lot of military roads after the Jacobite uprising to ensure troops could move swiftly up and down through Scotland. And this was a road built a little bit later on. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We think we got that right.
Yeah, there's a good one across Rannoch Moor which I've walked on a couple of times.
Yeah. And you're saying as well, you were reminiscing about skiing in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Not here specifically.
No.
We used to come out from Dundee.
Yeah.
And it used to just be a tractor a farm and a tractor who'd organised something.
Yeah, and they'd have a ski lift, well, a drag usually, that was just run by the tractor engine, and then it would pull ropes, and then you'd just hang on to a rope and be pulled up the hillside. Wasn't anything quite as spectacular as this. It wasn't as high, but it was, well, I could hardly ski, so it was absolutely adequate for me and my mates.
So it was good fun.
Good bit of fun, bit of a change.
Yeah.
Really.
So you just get dragged up to the top of a hill.
Yeah.
And then you launch yourself down
then
the
you
other
try
side.
and get back down again without falling over too many times.
It's quite well established. There are three separate chairlifts here, and I think one of the runs, if you go up to the top on the lift and then come down, it's about 1,500 feet of skiing descent. So if you're into your snow sports, which I never have been, but if you're into your snow sports, it's obviously pretty good, provided you've got the snow, and I think that's an increasing problem. But they do have snow-making facilities here. Though we were told this morning at the hotel there had been a flurry of snow up on the higher hills from here, up sort of north of where we are now. So we'll see if we spot that. But it certainly feels cold enough for a bit of snow. Yeah, so enjoying it, and we're going to make our way down to Braemar, where we're hoping it's going to be a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
Braemar, home of course to the Braemar Gathering, the spectacular Highland Games event and show. Takes place in September each year and is always popular with the royal family, who are normally staying at their Balmoral residence just a few miles down the road from here. Now the late Queen always loved coming to this, and you could pretty well guarantee every year in the papers there would be pictures of the Queen and Prince Philip sitting here watching the Highland Games, looking at the livestock and so on. So this is the arena in this natural bowl, and I think at other times when events are not being held, I think there used to be a putting green. You used to be able to play golf in the middle here, and so the Highland Games was just a week or so ago. So the buildings, the additional stands are still there, and I suppose opposite is the Royal Pavilion. Stands slightly separate from all of the others, and is obviously a demonstrably grander building. there we go. So I guess King Charles was here. I don't particularly follow the royal news. I should think he was here, enjoying himself. And Braemar is like, I'm trying to think what else it's like. We'll see a little bit in a minute or two. It's like a lot of these little places you find up and down the country. It's one of these real, for whatever reason, one of these real little tourist magnets, like somewhere like I don't know, Ludlow or Grasmere or somewhere like that. It's one of these places that is a natural homing in point for well, people like us travelling the area, because it's just, I think it's long been a centre for tourism since Queen Victoria made this part of the world popular. People then have wanted to come here from the 1850s onwards. I think what impresses me as well, well, I don't know whether he's daft or courageous really, is that my parents in 1974, they did the journey from North Berwick to Braemar, to where we are now. They did that all in one run, and I think in my records we left North Berwick about 10 o'clock, got here about 3:30. And we've stopped, obviously. We stopped at just outside Perth yesterday, and it's a long drive, and it would have been a harder drive in the 1970s before roads were widened and improved significantly. And it's a challenging drive in terms of towns, cities, villages, mountainous terrain. But my dad obviously enjoyed the driving. I think he enjoyed the driving, and perhaps he had the advantage that he only really took the car out at the weekends at home, and rarely then for long journeys. The long journeys were only at holiday time. He always went to work on his bicycle or his motorbike. So maybe when it came to two or 3 weeks away, he'd get in the car and thoroughly enjoy it. And it was a big car, Vauxhall Victor 2000, great big beast of a vehicle with a 2-litre engine, huge great boot. And I think he then relished the times when he could take it out on a long trip and let it go, as it were. But I know it struggled on this particular trip up in Scotland. Talked about the engine overheating. I know at subsequent points the handbrake failed and had to be replaced, and I think on the journey home the clutch went. so it struggled a bit, not surprisingly, and I think it was only 6 years old then. It wasn't that old as a car. The main drag in Braemar. It was good. Got the oat stout. Lots of gift shops, art gallery. And here's Gordon's Tea Rooms. As mentioned in my diary, that's where we had high tea.
Yes.
And it's still here, Gordon's Tea Rooms. That's really good. Yeah. There we go. I got a warning there of Piper crossing. We've got the otter and owl and the red squirrel and the salmon. These are good sculptures. Yeah. Is that a seagull or is that meant to be an osprey? Not sure.
It's a sea eagle.
I like the highland coos there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tourist information place is just there.
It's just there. Yeah. The flowers are lovely. Yeah. So a little bit about Braemar. Lies at the junction or near the junction of the rivers Dee and Cluny Water. For hundreds of years this was a place where kings and queens loved to hunt, and a base from which their armies could control the mountain passes. So Braemar Castle, we might go and have a look at that in a few moments. That's on the outskirts of the village. and explains after the Jacobites were defeated at Culloden, Braemar Castle was one of several garrisons for government troops, and you can still see the graffiti soldiers carved in the wooden frames. Braemar's royal connections revived when Queen Victoria visited the Highland Gathering in 1848. Caught in the inevitable short, sharp shower, and the Invercold Arms Hotel looks like it might be rather closed up. That's all closed up, isn't it? That's a big, very big building, isn't it? Not to be trading. No idea what this is. This more modern. So that's when soak becomes spill, stainless steel, and that's I hope I pronounce it correctly, Subo Gupta. Okay, so it's like a big frothy glass of beer or Guinness pouring over.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good effect of the rainbow across the mountains, if the Osmo is able to pick that up accurately. The castle at Braemar.